All right, so for 2-4, your one objective is to create an expense equation based on fixed and variable expenses. So you're trying to figure out how much it costs a business to run or to produce their product. For variable expenses, for that vocab, variable expenses would be they depend on the number of items produced. So for instance, if you have decided to start a bakery and you are going to make cookies, the variable expenses would be things like your ingredients, like flour, like sugar, things like that. Okay? Your fixed expenses do not change. Do not change based on the number produced. So back to that cookie example, if you were making cookies for your business, your fixed expenses would be things like your rent every month. You could produce one cookie, you could produce 10,000 cookies. Your rent wouldn't change on the building you're renting or the kitchen you're renting. That would be an example of fixed expenses. So variable depends on how many cookies you're making. Fixed, it doesn't matter. An expense equation, and here it is, ready? Expenses equal your variable expenses plus your fixed expenses. So that right there is your expense equation, okay? This gives you your total expenses, okay? How much it costs total to make those things. Revenue is the income a business receives from selling its product. So this is all of the money you get from selling your cookies, okay? It's not the profit, it's not what you get to keep, what you get to put in your bank account. This is all the money you get, okay? So this still has to pay your expenses and things like that. Your revenue equation is R equals price times the quantity, right? If you're selling your cookies at $2 a piece, those would be really good cookies. You're going to take $2 times however many cookies you sold that day. That would be the quantity. And that will tell you how much should be in your cash register. That would be your revenue. So that's, I'm just going to write that out in words so you have it. So revenue equals, excuse me, price times, and just kind of use this little thing, times quantity, or the number you've sold. All right, profit is different than revenue. Revenue is how much you have in, or how much you've made that day. Profit is what you actually get to keep. So it's the difference between the expenses, because you have to pay those bills, and revenue, right? That's what you actually get to keep. All right, loss. And I should say up here for your profit, this is when you've done this, when you found the difference between your expenses and the revenue, you get a positive number, right? You actually get some money to put in the bank. If it's a profit, you actually have money. You made money. When it's a loss, it's the same idea, but you lost money. So it's when the difference between the expenses and the revenue is a negative number. You lost money. Okay? The break-even point is kind of when that change happens, when the change from profit to loss happens. Your break-even point is when the expenses, what you're paying to make your cookies, equals how much you brought in. So you haven't lost any money, you've broken even, but you haven't made any money either. Okay? So those are your vocabulary words.